This is Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting live from the Concierge Landscape Studios, and we're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors. Time now for a message from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Pest Control Services. When you need an exterminator, you want someone reliable and effective. Give Greg Keener a call at Pest Control Services, 952-894-9748. Pest Control Services is a proud member of Angie's List and a member of the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. That's Pest Control Services, 952-894-9748. Tell Greg that Gene and Tony sent you.
Do you need products to successfully run your rental property business? Interested in a class about fair housing or rekeying locks? Want to use the plain language lease that is used by the majority of rental property owners in Minnesota? Then you should visit mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com. That's the website for the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, the most comprehensive resource in the state for owners of everything from a duplex to hundreds of units, and for townhome and condo associations as well. They've been around for 40 years and put on hundreds of seminars, publish a monthly magazine, sell Attorney General-approved leases, and have countless other tools for property owners. While they are a membership organization, all of their resources and seminars and their annual convention and their spring conference and their orientation programs are open to everyone. For more information, visit the website, mmha.com.
I want to say, too, if you're interested in pursuing further information about the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, I have a phone number for you to call. You can reach them at 952-854-8500, and they'll tell you all about their CIC Midwest division, which is meant for homeowner associations. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's get back to this, Gene. We were talking about this guide to making effective board decisions.
Yeah, it was a great piece written by a freelance writer. Her name's Pamela Dittner-McEwen, and this was published in the Chicago Tribune on September 9th, and some great information here.
Yeah, we covered the first few. Number one was identify the true nature of the problem. What is it really about? Mm-hmm. Number two, review your authority to deal with the issue. Is the association authorized to deal with this issue? Yep. Number three, establish your priorities.
Yes.
How important is this for us to spend time on in our meeting?
Yeah. And we've got another item here. Number four, differentiate the components.
Okay.
And in that, I think she's probably asking the reader to think about, is there more than one facet to a particular issue? We talked about things happen a lot of times because of cause and effect. Uh-huh. But the effect that you're seeing may not be because of the immediate cause. It may be linked to a number of other factors. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many times do we talk about the unintended consequences?
Oh, all the time.
In actions.
All the time.
And so sometimes what may be happening may be an unintended consequence to something else that was addressed or trying to be dealt with. And sometimes that's the part that I think the average person or homeowner living in an association probably just doesn't even realize or can fathom all of the things that the board or their management company may be going through to try and deal with a particular issue.
You mentioned rental housing or a rental home in a homeowners association, and that has come up for us recently at our company at New Concepts. Mm-hmm. We have a homeowners association who someone on the board noticed that a renter was leaving their trash cart out overnight after pickup, and that's not okay. You're supposed to bring your trash cart in. So the manager immediately wrote a letter to the renter directly explaining this is a violation. Sure. You got to stop it. We're going to fine you. The problem here was they dealt with the immediate event or the immediate consequence or outcome, but they didn't include the owner of the property in this information, and they didn't include us, the managers, the rental managers of this property. So what that means is the owner and the manager of the rental property have no documentation that there's been a violation at all. And what I see happening is the association gets more and more frustrated if the renter doesn't comply. But in the meantime, they haven't let the proper people know about it.
That's a great example because in that particular case, had the management company been notified and the owner, you've got two people that are financially involved and invested in a reason to make these people comply.
Plus, we have the authority and the power to make these people comply. It's not clear that the association can force these people to comply, but we have a signed lease with these people. So you got to think about the different, like you said, the different steps, the different layers. Is this consequence? How many steps back do we have to go to find the start of this problem?
We don't have time for all 9. I will say this, though, to our listeners. If you like this guide to making effective board decisions, give us a call. And that number, again, our hotline is 952-224-2668. If you're the first board member, you can get that free membership we talked about. To CAI. But if you'd like a copy of this, A Guide to Making Effective Board Decisions, we'll be happy to make sure that you get that. As well as, if you want, you can email. My email is Gene, Gene, at ncmgi.com. With our remaining time here in this segment here, let's talk about a couple of others real quickly. Another effective guide to remember, I like this one. Check out the board's obligations.
Okay.
The board is obligated to act on behalf of the association, and they do so for a number of different reasons. Number one is they have what's called the governing documents that guide them, and they need to do what they do for consistency's sake.
They need to comply with their own governing documents. That's right, because they have to be consistent and fair.
Yeah. Number two is the board also has an obligation to the rest of the homeowners who voted them into power and as an authority in their community. And so they have an obligation to go back to them, to use them as a reference to find out what the majority wish or wishes might be in a particular matter. There's also an obligation that the association has on a fiduciary standpoint too when it comes to insurance, things that they need to do for safety's sake.
Yeah.
And so these are all things. And I think of that one case, Tony, of the board that had a rule that said kids cannot play
on the grass,
or because all they had was something that was in the parking lot area,
right?
And they said we don't want to have any kids
accidents. Yeah.
So these are things that need to be thought out. Again, 9 great points called A Guide to Making Effective Board Decisions. Give us a call. We'll make sure that you get this copy. 952-224-2668. We need to wrap it up right now because we've got to go to commercial, but don't go away. We've got a whole nother hour, a lot of other topics to cover. We're glad that you're here with us on this Sunday morning on Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280 The Patriot. We'll be back in a few.